Cool? Feeling good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's go.
I'll probably take a break somewhere in the middle here, but we can get it going. Great. You're going to hold your mic to your face.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're going to have to deal with the sounds, though.
Love it. Hey, everybody. Welcome to This Probably Doesn't Matter. I am Luke Atkinson. Joining me, as always, is my lovely wife, Katie.
Hello.
Hi, Katie. And our guests today are Allie Jordan and Cory Wendt.
Hey, guys.
Hey.
Hello, everybody.
Welcome. Thank you for being here. Allie and Cory are co-owners of the Happy Crop Shop.
Here in Wenatchee and East
Yes.
Wenatchee.
And Cashmere.
And there's
I didn't know that one.
The kicker, yep.
Your
Nice.
go-to spot for cannabis products.
That's right.
Okay, I love it. The Cashmere one is my favorite just because of that little plaza with its auto licensing.
Oh, is that you
Yes.
guys?
And
with the pizza.
marijuana and a liquor store in
Yep.
one little strip mall.
Yep.
It's
Or
got to
one
be one
stop.
of the. It's got to be one of the coolest spots right there. I chuckle every time I drive by.
Probably works well with the bar right there, too.
Yes.
Everything you need in one spot.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you get a DUI, just go back, get reinstated, pass the pot on the way out, grab a drink. You're done.
Everything you need. Exactly. and it's
that's
right there off the highway. So it's like,
Convenient.
yeah.
Yeah.
As
On the
you're
way
going to
home.
Lake Chelan, as you're coming home from Lake Chelan, as you're going up to Leavenworth, all those fun spots.
Oh, help me inside baseball immediately here. Lake Chelan, how is it just laws? How is there not a pot shop up there?
It's just so strict, and they weren't real keen on having anyone there, so they made it real hard to find property.
Oh, that's it.
Yes.
Well, the city rules and regulations make it almost impossible for a store to be open there.
Okay. They can't completely block.
They could if they wanted, but if you make the regulations so strict, you can't find property. There's so many regulations, like schools, parks, bus stops. I mean, anything you can think of other than a church.
The city of
Is-
Chelan is almost a whole park.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I'm just, if I were to have had a couple of beers and wanted pot up there, it is, you can't
Oh,
find
yeah.
it. It would seem like that, and then Leavenworth is the other
What about
no-brainer.
Manson, though? No
It is-
Manson, though? Same thing.
Who's going to drive out there?
Oh,
We have friends out there, so we do it all the time.
Yeah.
Maybe everybody. I don't
surprised.
know.
Well, you said have a couple beers and drive out there.
No, not that I'm like endorsing anything like that, but yeah.
Find a driver, go out
Get
there.
an Uber, yeah.
Yeah.
It's just
That's true.
it becomes a little desolate in the winter, so you don't want to
Sure.
get too far from civilization where you're really making people work for it.
I get
So,
that. I get that. Is Leavenworth the same thing?
Yeah, there was
throw
about
some German text on a sign, der THC, and
Yeah,
you can't do it.
der-
No, well,
THC,
they just,
love it.
again, the zoning, and they made it so
Yeah.
restrictive.
Yeah.
They don't want anything downtown, and they're pretty much City of Leavenworth is downtown.
That is
Their
downtown.
Schools are a big issue. And
Yeah.
once you get into a town where you have to start going through the regulations, you don't realize how frequent or often schools are.
Sure.
And everywhere, 'cause you have to be 1,000 feet. Well, in Leavenworth, there's one here, there's one at this end, and one in the middle of town. So
Yeah. Yeah.
And then they always like to throw like a 10 by 10 foot park in the middle of nowhere and be like, oh,
Just-
this is
yep.
a city park. And
Sorry.
it's like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
What
I
are you
see
supposed
that,
to do
yeah.
here?
I see that.
when we before we opened our Cashmere location, we had a location before that picked out, and we had to go with the state and them and discuss about a 10 by 10 foot of property that they classified as a park.
Really?
Well,
Yeah.
it's state property. It's owned by the DOT for road.
Oh.
That's not a park.
Oh, so that's just like
You
another
just run into
tool or loophole.
loopholes
Yeah.
and
So, have you guys been with the Happy Crop Shop since its opening? Were you part of the miles of paperwork at the beginning of this?
we were the
Tell me about that.
the miles ahead. So we probably started a year before. Really, we got our license. We started doing paperwork. We'd meet with our business partners whenever we felt was necessary. We'd just go over any new regulations that had come out or any new information, and
Sure.
and then it.
December of 2013 is when the initial application process started. And then we were one of the first 10 stores in the state of Washington to open in July of 2014.
All right. So this is the 5 year.
This is
Yeah,
5
next
years.
month will be 5
yes.
years.
Guys. Congratulations. That's awesome.
Thank
yeah,
you.
it's pretty exciting.
A lot has changed in that 5 years.
I can only imagine.
Yeah, we got to be the guinea pigs. So, you get to hurry up and wait with your application. We actually found out on Apple Blossom big weekend on Friday night. We found out, so got to go out and celebrate and have a
Yeah,
few
that's
drinks
cool.
That's awesome.
and have fun because we had just found out we got awarded a license in East Wenatchee.
And that was the original location just across the bridge over here.
Yep,
Okay.
our original location, right down from Larry's Chicken,
Yes.
across from a church.
Perfect.
They were not keen. We got some. I got some emails. You are not opening. You will not open.
Oh, no.
I was like, I'm sorry about your opinions, but we've been given a license, and I think we're going to be opening.
You should have handed out flyers. 10% off to church
Yeah.
members.
Yeah.
No coupons. Coupons are illegal.
Okay. That's brutal. Okay.
is.
It's just red flags everywhere, red tape everywhere, huh?
Yeah.
So
far as I
what
can
made you
see.
want to get into the industry?
We had some friends who were in the medical industry before. They're now our business partners, and we started talking about how the industry was evolving and how it was going to be legal, and it had passed. And I was actually still in college, and I was commuting and hitting up meetings as I'd pull back into town from school, and we'd meet at our East Wenatchee location, and just kind of started talking about it. And then all of a sudden we're doing paperwork, we're meeting, we've got a
Yeah.
group, we're filling out applications, and it's submitting paperwork. And literally 1 month to the day from when I graduated, we opened our store. So that was
Wow.
pretty exciting
That's
for
awesome.
me.
I've always been into business. Was in transportation, general
Okay.
manager for a company before that, and always intrigued by business. Funny, in high school, I said, "Oh, by the time I'm 25, pot will be legal and we'll be selling it." And came
There
a
you
year or
go.
two off, but it was pretty
That's
darn
close,
close.
huh?
Yeah.
That's
That's
cool though
awesome.
to have that kind of foreseen, like want to do, and now it's a dream
Yeah.
come true, kind of.
Stepping
Premonition.
stones and
Yeah.
always, I mean, a lot of
Yeah.
life left to live. And
Sure.
I love business. It's my passion, so
Yeah.
it'll always be a part of me.
It's as far as business goes, there's not like a lot of things that you can do that are groundbreaking necessarily anymore. So it's cool to be able to get into one of those, early on.
I don't even think that it's set in yet. I think it's going to be one of those
Yeah.
15, 20 years down the road when you look back when it's legal across the whole country and where the
Right.
whole industry is then it's going to be like, wow.
You're taking me straight into one of the few questions that I had thought of before we started this is being in the industry, do you have like any inside insight as to when it goes nationwide? You got any thoughts? I mean, we obviously see it in our lifetime
Oh, for sure.
where it will be federally legal.
My guess is 2 presidential elections, but minimum or maximum will be 3. By 2028, it will be.
You think by 2028?
I can almost
You'd
guarantee
bet
it.
on that
Yeah,
one.
I would.
I always wondered if he just like ran on legalizing, I bet he'd win.
That's
That's
kind of
been my
thought.
conspiracy theory. Like
Yeah.
if just right before he goes, I'm just going to legalize, he's getting another term.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt that someone's gonna do it. I've totally been banking on that. Someone's gonna run on legalization
Yeah.
to win, and they're gonna. who
How
knows
many
what they'll
states
do.
are legal right now?
Oh, 11. They aren't all operating, but
Okay.
technically 11.
Okay.
Illinois was the last one to pass,
Oh,
and
right.
they are not
Just this
fully
last cycle?
legal. Yeah,
Yeah.
just end
Just a
of
couple
May.
weeks
Like
ago,
I was
yeah.
going to say very recently
Yeah.
because I had 9 in my head.
Yeah, I didn't know.
But I've
yeah.
looked it up. It changes, I guess, all the time. So.
It does, and
The
a lot of. Go ahead.
fact that it's got past the West Coast now and over the Mississippi,
Yeah.
that's going to be the tide that really starts to get rolling, and that's what's
Sure.
going to make it happen. New York has tried to pass it. They just didn't do it for the second time, but they're worried about taxes, fighting over that. I mean, there's so much tax revenue and so much money that we're bringing out of the illegal market. It has to.
Right.
It only makes sense. It's like prohibition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone was buying it on their table. What happened when
Sure.
it goes above table? Well,
Yeah.
tax revenue, you get business out of it.
It's a lot of political BS,
I guess the positive is I think we've really got, like everyone knows. At
yeah.
least everyone knows now. Like
It's-
everyone knows that pot's not this reefer madness drug that it was sold
From-
to our parents as.
Yeah.
And,
From when
like, we got out of that at least.
from
For the
when
most
we
part.
opened,
Oh yeah.
So now it's a night and day difference.
Oh, I
the,
bet.
the way people's thought process is on it, how open. And we see people all the time that are 80 plus. I mean, at least 2 a day.
Oh, wow.
And 4 years ago, they wouldn't even come in the store.
Sure.
Oh yeah,
But
I
now
have
just
friends that, like, even coworkers who talk about the creams, and I mean, there's just so many different things besides just smoking.
well, CBD
Yeah,
is huge,
exactly.
and that's what we really should thank is all the pharmaceutical companies and all those opioids. Those are what's really going to help push it to legalization because
Yeah.
they're finding that cannabis can be a substitution for that. Now
Yeah.
it's not going to maybe be as good,
Right.
but it's a lot less damaging to your body.
Yeah, for sure.
What a wild thing we did as a country as far as the opioid thing too.
Oh my
It's
God.
Okay, reefer madness,
really-
and then
yeah,
we can do
yeah,
that.
exactly. If you want to talk the real reefer madness, that's it.
Or synthetic THC. It's like, oh yeah, don't buy the real thing. Let's just make some fake shit and then sell that.
Yeah,
And that's legal everywhere.
That's crazy.
and that's worse for you.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Well, and then they sell CBD at Whole Food stores. Well, that can't
Oh,
be
right.
from, technically not supposed to be from the United States because you can't grow hemp until just last year.
So where do you get it from?
Well, it's
That's the
from
point.
overseas,
Oh.
but they sell it in health food
so
stores.
they'll
So
bring
you don't,
it into the States.
yeah, but you don't really know where it's coming from. Whereas when you
Yeah.
buy products that are from our stores, they have to be within Washington State.
I
So every state you go to, it's tested. You know where it's coming from. You know what's in it.
I see. But everything you sell is Washington State grown.
Yes,
Yeah.
it has to be.
And same with any other state, is it's
Yeah,
all.
well,
because there's
so-
no interstate trade
I was
because
gonna
it's
say,
federally illegal.
We won't be able to do state lines until it goes federally.
Oh
huh?
yeah.
And now Oregon has a big problem because they have produced way too much cannabis. So now they're trying to pass rules where they can take it over state lines. So I hope Oregon doesn't screw it up for every other state by doing interstate
Oh,
trade when it's still
So they're just
federally
gonna
illegal.
they're just gonna say yes we can and just do it.
That's what they're trying to do. I don't think they're going to be able to do it, but that's what they're trying to do.
Who can buy it? Wouldn't you have to be reckless to buy it? Like as a shop?
Oh yeah, because you'd be asking to be shut down because they
Right.
track and trace everything seed to sale.
Mhm,
So if you're
yes.
selling something or they just happen to hear about it or they get a complaint or they just walk in the store and you're making profits off of something they can't track and trace.
So now in the states where it's legal, it's
Yeah.
much more recreational legal. It's much more strict on what you can and can't buy versus medical states. So there's a way that possibly they could go to medical states. You know, California's still like 65, 70%
Right,
illegal,
medical,
medical
whatever
market,
that was.
black, gray.
Sure. And they could maybe sell it to a co-op or something like that. Is
Well,
that the thought?
There's still so many stores open in California where not even half the stores are licensed by the state.
Okay.
So it's still just pop-up shops, you know, make a
Interesting.
quick buck.
And
move on.
there's enough folks there that you can do that without getting immediately shut
Oh
down,
yeah.
huh?
They're having
think
a
you
hell
stay
of a
op-
time.
Stay open for 30 days and don't pay taxes.
Making pretty good money.
Okay, I like it. That makes sense.
And that's the hard part. That's why we're so proud of surviving already for 5 years because
Right.
we've gone through 2 tax changes already with the state liquor board and we've been able to survive. It costs of doing business, unfortunately. We hope that we're taking the pain now for long term when it does go federally legal
Totally.
because that's not when we're going to see any benefits until then.
Right. So you're just fingers crossed waiting for that one, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Riding the wave.
That's
Like I said, I hope
interesting.
less than 8.
Less than 8. I'm banking
2
on it.
cycles is what I'm counting on.
Yeah. It makes I won't even get close to politics, but yes, that makes sense to me.
I wouldn't even know where to start with politics on that.
And then there's some companies that are the Canadian ones, and they have set up some deals that are contingent on when it goes federally legal too, and they've set some time restraints on them.
Which they just did, right? They just went full federal in Canada.
Yes,
But it's very regulated. There's a handful of stores. They're kind of operated by the government. It's not
interesting.
quite the same
Okay.
as in our states.
they're just getting edibles. I mean, it took a while to get edibles in Washington State, but not
Okay.
8-9 months
Yeah.
Right.
like it has them.
Yeah, it's just a different platform up there. Like I said, a lot less stores, pretty heavily overseen by the government.
Yeah.
So, but since it's full legalization, a lot of people are getting in on it there. A lot of the consulting companies are the large firms, and then they're waiting to see what happens here. And like you said, they've got about 19, 20-month plans and projections. That's what they're contingent
Gotcha.
on. Yeah.
Oh, interesting. I didn't even know.
I
They
knew
were
that. I knew
legal
that they
then.
had voted. Yeah, I knew that they changed it.
Canada's trying to go to big. They want to be the first country to do full exports, imports, be kind of like
do
the
it.
hub
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
cannabis.
Really?
So it
I
sounds
mean,
like they're off
Canada,
to a
like, all the
rocky
places?
start on
That's
that
weird.
then, or what? They're just
Slow.
waiting for everyone else.
Everything's slower than people think. Because there's some momentum now, people hear, well, it passed. So they are thinking, well, we can open shop the next day.
Right.
No, it passed in 2012 here, and the first store to open was in 2014 in July,
Oh,
late
wow.
June. So people just weren't as hyper aware of the industry. They weren't
Yeah.
sitting there waiting to see when stores opened. Well, when are you going to make your money? When are they
Who was
going
the first
legal?
in Washington?
The
Was it
first.
Seattle area?
I think so.
Yeah.
Oh, I can picture it, but I can't.
Are they still in business? That's the real question.
Yes,
Oh,
and
wow.
something in Bellingham. It was. They both
Oh,
claimed.
Bellingham would make sense.
They both
too.
claimed to be the first
Yeah.
to open, and I can't remember their names, but yeah.
Huh.
Now everyone has a hyper awareness about the industry, and so they think once it passes, stores are going to open and everything's
Right.
going to just roll smoothly, and
Yeah.
that is not the way this industry rolls.
No, of course not.
But do you think when a store opens, like, it's pretty... So kind of on the marketing side of things, like I've talked to you about it before, it's pretty strict. And so getting the word out there, I mean, people know, but
You
do
really
you feel like the marketing is a big piece still?
I think it's a big piece. Just like any industry, you just have to work 10 times harder because it's the most regulated industry in the country. You have the most restrictions on marketing and on where you can get your product and who you can sell your product to. And I mean, everything about the industry is
Yeah.
just as strict as you can get.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we're not allowed to have signage outside our store. You can have a sign on your store. You can have one on your building and nothing more. You can't have sidewalk signs. You can't have banner flags on your billboards. You can
So
have...
what about the billboards? Because I've seen them in Wenatchee.
Yes. So the billboards,
I have to ask.
they almost took our option to use those away. Someone tried to lobby against those. But they even got more strict. So it's kind of odd in the fact that instead of getting a little more loose as time goes on, they've actually gone the other way and things have become more strict over the years. So on your billboard, all you can have are where you're located, your name, and then what you're doing. So like we have our name, where we're located, and that we have medical and recreational marijuana, and that's it. So it's tough, but you just got to do what you got to do. You know, you network, you use whatever resources you can, even though
Yeah.
it's hard.
So what's the main concern? Is underage consumption? Is that it?
Yeah.
It's
Oh, for
all
sure.
the under 21 thing.
Yeah.
Because it's federally illegal, that's their biggest thing
Sure.
is they want. Years ago, they had a Cole memo sent out that had 8 guidelines you were supposed to follow, and then Sessions rescinded that Cole memo, so it kind of left everyone in limbo. What do we do?
Right.
They sent out another one that kind of said the same parameters. Don't let it be in the hands of children.
Yeah.
Don't advertise to children.
Yeah, you've got that whole 1,000-foot buffer for the most part.
I don't know what the actual science on it is. There has to be real concerns about brain development if you're not done cooking until you're 25, that you don't want kids who are 18 necessarily smoking, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that what they say? They say your brain's not done cooking until you're 25 years old.
Something
so
about like
I get. What is the dog chewing on?
His foot.
Oh, cool.
Cash.
That was loud.
Cash. Thanks.
But yeah, I guess whatever keeps me. I won't even say when I started smoking, but it was a lot younger than 21.
I think a lot of
I don't know if I can say that I turned out fine objectively, but I am still alive for sure.
still kicking.
Well, I'm sure it's not because of that anyway.
So that's the number
He's
one
got
concern.
bigger issues.
Yeah, he does.
A lot bigger issues. So that's the number one concern on the whole Fed thing, is the underage.
Well, and for the states, I mean, I don't think I'd say the feds are worried about the underage as their number one priority. Their constituents big pharma and alcohol don't
yeah,
necessarily want,
Totally.
cannabis
that.
taking over the
'Cause you're a
country.
competitor.
Oh, for sure. That's who lobbies against our industry is alcohol and pharmaceuticals. I mean,
Of course. Yeah.
Alcohol was one of the biggest lobbyists against the 502 law.
just
Really?
yeah, in Washington State. Oh yeah, they lobbied hard because they don't want people choosing to go home and have a joint or a bowl after work. They want them to drink wine or have a cocktail. Yeah, they
I'll
fought
have
hard.
both. So,
Yeah.
Amen.
Sure. Why not? Yeah.
I mean,
Oh, that's
Yeah.
As
wild.
long as you do it responsibly.
I mean, I would say
Smoke responsibly.
you gotta have seen cool things as far as the medical side of things goes. That I'm sure that you've seen it positively affect customers' lives, the products that you can get them. So, I would think that would be a rewarding part of being able to run a retail like that.
Yeah, most definitely. Cory's had quite he's had a handful of pretty good run-ins with our medical patients and had some cool experiences and feedback from them.
It's it's like, I mean, it's just very fascinating because it's very different from alcohol and it helps people. And yeah, people come in all the day and need to use it, but it's not as crazy as alcohol. And then to the pharmaceutical side, people have come in right when we opened and said, "Oh, I'm on 8 medications." Came back 6 months later and goes, "I'm on 2." Well, what'd
Wow.
you change? Just, you guys opened the store, started smoking again.
oh yeah.
That's wild.
Awesome.
And
you
people-
can get off medication.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also people going through cancer treatments and having a lot of nausea or pain, and they come in and either their significant other, their family member, the mom or the daughter or whatever, they'll come in and just thank us for existing and helping ease that discomfort and that pain. And so that is really nice to hear. But yeah, we've had people both on the medical and just the recreational side come in and say, I never thought I'd see this day. Like, I've been in jail for this before. I
Right.
can't believe that this has happened in my lifetime. Thank you.
That's
and
cool.
for us, it's just like Cory said, you don't really think about it while you're in the thick of it. It's just like, oh, it's happening. Where, you're just doing it day by day. And 10 years down the road, you're going to be like, holy shit, like that happened.
It's
and I was like,
and it's
one of the
affecting
first.
real difference.
Well, extending
of
people's life
course,
because they're
that's
able to
huge.
have a little bit better living a life. Just we have a ton of people that do CBD oil. It's just a heavily concentrated oil, very low THC, but high in CBD, which
Right.
is, I have to watch what I say here now, helps the body feel better.
He's
all
not,
around.
He's not a medical doctor.
Yes.
Rules, regulations.
If none of you picked up on the fact that the four of us, none of us are medical doctors
Yeah,
here
we're
right
not
now.
doctors, but
Oh, that's
we sure
awesome.
can sell you some good bud.
Yeah, that's killer.
But-
Three locations
Yeah, 3
here
locations.
in the valley, so check them out, please.
Yeah. And we're excited to have you guys this Friday.
Yes.
So-
Yeah, so that's initially what brought us together is
Yeah.
a sponsorship for the upcoming comedy show with Tyler Smith and Mike Coletta. So thank you guys for your partnership and help on
Yes,
that.
we're excited about that.
It's gonna be
Always a
great
good time.
Have you checked out Tyler? Have you seen any of his stuff?
I haven't seen him yet. I've been a
Okay.
little busy, but
Yeah, he's I've seen him one time. We poached him after a show in Seattle.
We poached him at the parlor, which is now closed.
Yeah, they are closed.
The
the
parlor
parlor
closed
live.
down,
I don't know if you ever
down
went
there
to
in
that.
They did.
Bellevue. Yeah.
Wow.
Really weird, but
Because they're
That
trying to
is.
save the right across from Pike Place too.
Oh, Showbox.
Yes, they're
Oh,
trying to save
really?
the showbox too.
they were trying to take
Yes.
that down. Yeah.
why? What?
Now
I
the
don't
parlor is
Redevelopment.
nowhere near as
Historical as a showbox.
Correct. Yes, that's the word I'm looking for. Tyler is a Seattle comedian. He runs a show over there called The Dope Show. He's not bringing The Dope Show to Wenatchee, but if anyone's ever over there, please make sure you check that one out. And it's comics pre-smoking and post-smoking.
Kind of like that one we did.
Yeah,
Similar
that
to
you
the
guys
one
did
we had seen
last
here.
time,
Yeah.
yeah.
So Tyler Smith, I was trying to find his credits just now. I think he's had an appearance or two on Portlandia.
Oh.
What let's see. Let me just tell you about Tyler. Tyler is the most lovable ganja enthusiast in Seattle. His joyful personality and charming charisma have won over audiences from around America. Known for being the host of The Dope Show, Tyler can be found talking. He can be found talking
He's
with
probably
comedians.
looking at him too.
I look at almost everyone I talk to.
It's kind of hard when you're stoned not to just look at people. Are they looking at me?
Am I paranoid?
He's going to be found talking with comedians and entertaining audience all throughout the country. Let's see here. We got clubs around the Northwest, performs at nation's top comedy festivals such as Bumbershoot. Something. Yes, where is this thing? If not on stage, you can catch Tyler on the sitcom Portlandia.
Yeah.
Is that real? Yeah, on the sitcom Portlandia.
I think I'm going to be pleasantly surprised when I see him this Friday.
He's
Sounds good.
A lot of fun. We had a good time. I remember leaving.
I thought he was better than the main act.
The headliner, whose name I did
absolutely
already
liked
say,
it.
John Reap, I love you. Tyler was very good also, who opened for you. How about that?
Yeah. There you go.
So I'm excited to see him. And then Mike Coletta is also a riot. He's a really good time. He was at one of the Cold Winter Night shows here just this past winter.
Yeah.
So we get to see him again. Buy your tickets. They're only $15. We should have done a giveaway. We should have figured out how to do a giveaway on this podcast, but
Probably
it's not
still can.
live, so
Oh,
it wouldn't really do me any good.
gotcha. We can still get a giveaway. This
Yeah,
week.
we're gonna give away 2 tickets, and make sure you guys tell all your friends. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah. That's at the radar station.
It's at the radar station. That's correct.
8:00 p.m.
And just grab your goods before you come. Just stop by the Wenatchee store
Please.
Yeah.
or the East Wenatchee. They're really both
In
pretty
fact,
close.
yeah, I have to go visit you guys because Tyler asked for something specifically, so I will go pick that up for him. I had to bribe him a little bit. You know, you got to give perks for your comedians. So
Yes.
I
What
will
time is he
go-
getting in town on Friday?
So doors are at 7, so I hope he's here somewhere around 7:30. I guess we'll see.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. He's not coming early.
I don't think anyone's coming early. I think they're busy men.
Oh, gotcha.
So
Coming from Seattle.
Yeah, it's a
and
bit of a
then-
drive.
and then driving back right afterwards.
Okay.
It's
I
summertime.
can't-
Everyone's busy.
I can't
It's
talk.
true.
I can't talk comedians into coming in on this podcast, but maybe someday. So
Someday.
we'll get them next time.
Yeah.
And then I'm not saying, but there's just a great alley right behind the radar station there. So I'm not
Which
saying.
we enjoyed last time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we,
The last show.
if you have any product. It's Washington. We can't endorse any of this. I'm not saying, but
Yeah.
it's just right there. Perfect. Let's take a quick break. You guys won't even know that it happened if you're listening to this, and we'll be right back.
Perfect.
Cool.
You spend over the years on that name, and then you have to change it.
Yeah, everything.
How
has
long
to
were they
change.
open?
3-4 years.
Yeah.
But it was 3 or 4 years before the Wicked Weed Brewery ever figured it out.
Well, because
Or
it's
until
finally
they won the lawsuit. One of the two.
it's now getting big enough where
We're just rolling back in. We're already going. Here we go.
people are
Starting to recognize brands, and they're like, "Hey,
Doing the
I already
research.
created that brand."
So was the
the Wicked Weed Brewery had it before the Wicked Weed
Marijuana.
grower.
Yeah.
the grower? Okay,
Yeah.
I was gonna ask.
So
Was the store
they
grower?
had it, and so that's one of the whole problems with federally it being illegal is you technically aren't supposed to get federal trademarks for something that's federally illegal.
Right.
So people work around to get these names and licenses, but then they're not always doing the research
Well,
to
now-
know who down the road has that name already.
As far as in-state, if I buy a DBA, it's regulated just within Washington State, but that doesn't, I mean, do DBAs even go doing business as, for the listener,
For those of you who might be,
I was going to say for the
consuming.
uninformed scrub, DBA doing business as. Just a joke. DBA is just within the state, right? That's just a Secretary of State,
Right.
or whatever.
Yeah.
that
That only keeps you within the state.
safe there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Nothing
you
beyond
can
that.
trademark state by state. It's just a pain in the ass.
Right. So
And a
they-
federal trademark's always going to outrule a state trademark.
Yes. So they sued. Did they sue him?
Yeah.
Oh.
But that's one you're not going to fight and
They
win.
either
Right.
You
If
get a
have it-
letter and you either abide by it or you
Yeah.
don't.
Yeah.
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 Interesting.
So did they? Do you know if they just went out of business or did they just change
no,
their
they
name?
just changed it.
Oh,
Change their name.
that's good.
Yeah.
I mean, if
You
you,
have
work
to.
When
so
you
hard
grow
on-
good weed, you're never going to go out of business.
And they had a
Right,
product
yeah,
that was worth it.
Yes, not every grower has the best weed, even though that's what they want to tell you.
Ballpark me this. Can you tell me how many growers are in the state? Is that like a searchable number?
I think it's about
Let me see what I
1,100,
can
1,000,
do.
1,100.
Okay.
And there's less than 500 retail stores.
There's less than 500 retail stores for twice as many growers.
But not every grower is going to produce cannabis. Some do edible, some do vape cartridges only.
Specifically.
Yes, like some growers don't even touch cannabis. They just buy dried flower, trim, and that's how they make their edible.
Oh,
so they don't
interesting.
even grow it. They just buy it.
But
and produce
you'd
their
work
product.
under the same license, a grower's license, to buy and sell from
Yes.
other growers,
Yeah.
that sort of thing. Interesting. So, I've always been curious. What's the testing? What are those numbers on the jars or the packages? It's all third party.
Yes,
for
it's all
testing.
third-party testing. You've seen it through the years go up and down. I mean, when we first opened, people were 40% THC.
On flour.
Yeah, get out of here. There's no way.
Oh,
And it's come down. I mean, you don't see anything over 30 anymore.
is it the same labs across the state, or do those open just as much as growers do?
A little more of a niche market in the testing because you got to actually be a scientist and have some credentials behind that.
Do you know much about their method?
No.
No. I'm curious because I see I'm a little bit the opposite of you, but obviously you know more than I. When I first remember buying flour, something around 21 was like as high as I was seeing, and now I'm seeing stuff in the lower 30s that is pretty wild to me. So
Now, I'll also look at the THC content versus total cannabinoids. Because
Right.
your total cannabinoids will have other ingredients of the cannabis
Properties.
plant
Sure.
that they test,
Sure.
properties. But THC content over 30 is pretty hard.
are you skeptical when you see that number?
Yeah, and for me, being a user, I don't go off content at all. I could care less what it is. I
Really?
go off look, smell, taste.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where you're going to get the terpenes. That's where you get your high out
Yeah.
of. It's not the THC content. For me, I like a good high that lasts, not just an up and down.
So
I want something where I can smoke a bowl. And
So
then
let
go
me do
something
this.
for a few hours.
Let
go
me
ride
do
my
this.
bike.
I can't call myself a connoisseur. Maybe slightly informed versus you that you know what's going on. Terpenes. Ready? Here we go.
Yeah, here we go.
Here we go. Plant's natural response to attack. Is that what it is? You trick the plant into producing a terpene as if it was under stress.
No, terpenes are going to be what a plant produces. Every plant's going to produce different terpenes. It's going to have different...
How do you raise them?
I sat in on a course. Oh my God, if you listen to this guy.
Retail, I'm not a grower.
Okay. No, it's
Bring
funny.
them.
I'm working off of 3 days at a local supplier where I got kind of a crash course. I took a job with. I shouldn't even say names. I took a job with those people out by you in Kashmir, thinking that I was gonna like be throwing bags of dirt around and stuff like that. Like I wanted just like a manual labor job, and realized quickly that that's not what it was gonna be. I was gonna do my weekends there, and I was working at a welding shop in Waterville at the time.
Oh.
So I took the job thinking I was gonna drive a forklift and throw dirt around. And then started getting taught the retail side of supplies for growers, and I was like, I don't do retail, I really can't. But I got the crash course, and he was showing me the product was called Terpinator or something like that, and the way he explained it to me was it essentially was attacking the plant, which caused it to produce these terpenes, which were like a natural, I don't know. Almost a poison. Poison's not the right word, but like if the plant was getting eaten by bugs, for instance, it would naturally produce these terpenes. I could be so wrong. This is 4 years ago.
So it's
or
kind of like a
something that.
pesticide. I sat in on the. I mean, this guy was.
Am I so far off?
fascinating to listen to? I don't
Cory's
know.
looking at me like I am so far off.
I
right
don't.
now.
I think maybe he's talking about just the way you treat the plant. People like to treat weed like a weed. Like you just
Yeah.
beat it down. Like you just let it. Basically, what growers and green thumbs will say: treat it like shit, and then it'll just like flourish.
Weird.
Yeah,
That's bizarre.
like you just dehydrate it and then hack it.
I used to work for a grower, but it wasn't. I did mostly office work, and I went out to the
Yeah.
shop sometimes, and all I ever saw them was lights and water and
Oh, my
sitting around.
longest day for those folks was they had printed a number wrong on the back of the label, and we spent a day just doing a tiny sticker over the top of it over and over
yeah.
and
That's
over again.
the regulations
thousands of
that
times.
add up to time
Oh
and money.
my goodness.
Yeah, he had like 6 of us in there doing it just to get it turned around because I had to get out to the
like-
supplier.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
4 hours
In, like, the
maybe.
next
6
day or
of us
something.
doing stickers on a bag.
I can
With
only imagine.
Every grower, they pretty much all have their own style or way of growing, and
Yeah.
it's different for everybody. Everyone has a different technique, different thought process.
So can you do your favorites? Can you tell me your favorite growers? Are you guys allowed to? Is that a conflict of interest?
I don't think it'd be a conflict.
I smoke a lot of monkey adhesive, which would be used to be Gorilla Glue, but back to the whole trademark issues.
Oh, it isn't?
Yeah,
Oh,
you can't.
interesting.
So now they call it monkey
I
adhesive
remember when it was
instead.
called Gorilla Glue. Okay.
Yeah, that's
There
no
still
longer.
is Gorilla Glue.
Yeah,
It's taboo in the legal market.
Yeah.
and that's from Black Label Cannabis, and then
Oh, I've had some of theirs.
Sour Diesel from With It Weed. Used to be Wicked. With It Weed. I
Right.
like
That's
theirs too.
for the listener. That's what we came into this on. Is Wicked turned to With It.
Yeah, they're
If you
with it
missed the
now.
beginning of that conversation, there we go.
Yeah, I'd say Black Label is probably way up there.
I'm more of a sativa smoker, and so as you work in the store, you find everyone has their different. People
Sure.
like whiskey, people like rum, people like vodka. It's the same thing in the cannabis industry. You have your indica, remember, by Into the Couch. Your hybrids,
Oh.
the middle of the road, and your sativas, your daytime weed.
That makes sense.
Those are pretty much. There's some variances from there, but that's pretty much your 3 kinds. And as long as you say either want to be up or down or in the middle,
yeah.
you
Right.
should be getting what you want.
So for your stores, do you get growers from all over the state, or do you have any local, or?
So our original business plan was built off local owners and local product because as we know, with all the fruit we have in the area, it's a great place to grow.
Right.
Chelan County chose to pretty much kick almost every grower out of the county, so that has hurt our business models, having local supply. And our whole thought process was, you have local supply, you're going to have cheaper prices, you know, better
Right.
prices of product to the customer. You
Sure.
don't have transportation costs. You're not going from Spokane to Seattle, Spokane, or stopping in the middle. It's all from right here. So that's been a disadvantage over the last couple of years. It's been tougher. We've had to, we've watched growers close,
Yeah.
move. Once they move, takes them a year and a half to get the same product going.
Oh, wow.
By
Yeah,
that
yeah,
time, you have customers that have moved on and forgot about you.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that
it's-
was a rough one for a lot of growers.
Is there a thriving grow area in the state? That's
There's quite a bit in Okanagan County.
okay.
Now, primarily outdoor. So you have differences everywhere across the state. In the Seattle area, it's wetter. You don't have as good of growing conditions, but you have much more
Are people
infrastructure and buildings, so you can do indoor.
I was going to say,
there
are people
more.
growing outdoor in Seattle?
There's some, but not a whole lot.
Okay.
But over here, you can do outdoor, which is going to be a little bit cheaper cost. Well, since our county chose to
Put the kibosh.
go with the fruit people over, that hill up there that has a lot of
course.
fruit, and
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah. I was going to ask about the guys in the greenhouses right below that hill. Are they still growing?
They are, yes.
But
They,
that's-
they made it through.
They're still kicking.
Just
that's
because they're
Chelan County.
established?
yeah, and well, it was all rules and regulations, and so if you had the money and good lobbyists, you can get rules set
Okay.
into they I think did a 1 mile setback. So a lot of these people had
Oh, wow.
farm, like say 5 acre farmland,
Yeah.
took out whatever farm they had on it and put cannabis farm on
Yeah.
it.
Right.
Well, if you utilizing your property, maximizing it, you're going to go to almost your whole property width.
Sure.
Well, that's going to be less than a mile from the next property.
That was where a lot
Oh.
of the complaint came in, is people didn't
Wow.
want to smell it.
Well, my
I smell
aunt
theirs
didn't
from
want
the
to look
golf
at
course.
it, and it was literally right out her window
Yeah.
where she was at.
Yeah.
And it was like, obviously the plant stuff are not the ugly part. It's like the black tarping,
Right.
and I know that they had some problems with theft, and so she was feeling like that was bringing it into her area.
Yeah.
So I think there was a lot of concern too in that outdoor area.
That's
all
why
that.
community workshops are important, not
Yeah.
just county workshops.
Sure.
Right.
Because if you work
That makes
together as community and neighbors,
Yeah,
You
but
can
when
come
you're where
find
she
us.
is, it's like it's all spread out. It's like
Yeah. It was
farmer
just
here,
a
farmer here, farmer here. Like,
And,
Yeah.
and
Same thing
I could,
probably still.
I could say the other side for, farmland and what that brings
Right.
sometimes as well. I mean, it's everyone working together, in my opinion, what's going to make it successful. But I think that maybe now she would have a different opinion than she did 3 years ago. Just how things
maybe
have.
she's pretty stubborn.
This is a tough case.
How
that you're
things
talking
start.
specifically, but yeah.
That's
Yeah.
I would
Education
feel-
is key. Education is
exactly.
really big with people. And like Cory said, I think those workshops, what happened in the beginning is the state set out rules and people followed those rules. And then 3 years later, cities and counties were like, oh, well, I think now that you've spent $5 million on your grow operation, I have a say in what you're doing. I didn't when you started, and I was
Right.
totally cool with what the state said. But now I think I have an opinion.
Can you
Yeah.
imagine?
And
Oh
so all
my
these people
gosh.
put millions of dollars into these businesses, and then years later, they're like, "You're SOL. Sorry, we don't feel like having you here anymore."
Yeah.
So that was kind of the double-edged sword. Is it wasn't working together to find a common solution, because I totally get that whole. It's a hard position to be in, because I get both sides. They totally could have found a common ground, like having regulations as far as the layout and the way things look,
Sure.
and curb appeal, and the safety. It's hard. You can't tell people. They obviously, if people are going to try to break in, they're going to try to break in. But security and surveillance is extremely high on the priority list for the state.
It's part of the application process.
Part of the application process is every
On either side, I'm assuming retail
Yeah.
or growing.
every square inch of your property has to be
And that's
under surveillance, and it's
Oh.
like a 45-day retention on those recordings. So there could have been probably a common ground, but I think education is probably the biggest thing, because you do find people who still are just like, there's reefer madness. I mean, you're going to
Yes.
find a handful of those people, and you're just not going to change them no matter how hard you try.
It's
Yeah.
silly, yeah.
5 years ago, it was probably 1 in every 5 over 55 was still reefer madness.
Yeah.
Now I'd say it's 1.5 out of 5,
Oh.
because all those baby boomers are now retiring. They
Yep.
don't have to worry
Right.
about it for a job.
Yep.
Oh, let's try it again. They try it and they go, oh, it's a lot stronger than it used to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, or medical. I mean, that's the big thing, is people want to knock on cannabis until they think they can use it medicinally, and then it's like saving grace.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's okay, and there's nothing wrong with it anymore, because it's
And
going to save me.
I think the good step is how popular the CBD products are becoming. Because I think a lot of people are seeing real benefit in, oh my gosh, I've been arthritic in my hands and elbows, and this is something that came from that plant that's helping. And I think that's at least a stepping stone.
Oh, yeah, people,
As
total
far as how people
turnaround.
receive it, yeah.
It's like, oh, it can help cure my arthritis. It can help with whatever, like, issue they're going through. And all of a sudden, cannabis is not,
Sure.
it's not a bad thing.
One of the biggest things I've probably been happiest about, besides helping the people, is that, in my opinion, and this is my opinion, so correct me if I'm wrong, I don't feel like there's been a negative impact in our community or our valley over cannabis becoming legal and stores opening.
No, I mean, I don't think so, personally.
I don't. I can go way farther with this politically. I don't think a lot of new cannabis users were born when the law passed. I think that most of what happened when the law passed is that cannabis users that existed already weren't criminals anymore.
Totally.
Exactly. And I mean, from there's not been a whole lot more crime. There hasn't
Right.
been a ton of DUIs. There hasn't been a bunch of violence.
Correct.
I mean,
Right.
it hasn't been a strain on our community for police resources. All the things that they were worried about when we first opened, and why every police chief said, oh, no, we can't have legal cannabis. I hope that we've been able to prove them
See,
wrong.
that
and say
surprises
no,
me.
we have
as
been able
far
to be
as
good about it.
the cops were against it that bad around here, and I don't know that I wasn't as involved in the community back then, so I wouldn't have known what any of the police force really thought. I might now, but generally, what I've heard from cops is prohibition in most forms is not good for a community. And it doesn't change. It really doesn't change use patterns. People who are going to use substances of any type are going to do it legally or illegally.
Exactly.
And that's where I could go off on a tangent as far as like what I think should be legal substance wise across the board. And I would start sounding crazy. But
Just like if you're under 21, you want to drink, you're going to find
course.
someone that you know to
Bye.
get you some
you
beer.
want to know the first
Exactly.
time I had a bottle of wine, I was 14 years old, and I grabbed a bottle of Welch's from my parents' fridge, and I popped a hole in the top of the container and threw some bread yeast in there. I left it in my closet for 3 weeks and got trashed. So
So you're gonna
So I'm
work
just
it.
telling
Now it all makes sense.
I'm going to tell you.
Yeah, it came from the Welch's.
You're learning a lot about me right now. Yeah, you will do what you're gonna do. Everyone will always. I think it is across the board, and I really don't think as far as impact, things should only have gotten better. Having some regulation to a market, you get a place where people can go and they at least know what they're getting. I remember edibles from before edibles were packaged in
Jesus.
10 milligram portions.
100 milligram cookies.
Yeah.
I wonder why you're like,
Like,
Sleeping for 2 days.
yeah.
I've had a panic attack for the last 3 days, and
Yeah,
I can't
that's
imagine
why.
what's going on. Yeah. So it's only gotten better. It's better for everybody, and I think it's got to be recognized. If not,
It depends on
now,
who
it
you
will
talk
be
to.
Soon.
Well, and
we spoke at a leadership conference a year back, and there was still a gal. They kind of like softened our like introduction, and they let the people know we were going to be there prior, and there was still one lady out of the group, and she just thought that we, like Cory said, she thought the total opposite. We brought homelessness, crime. Like, there's no way you didn't. It's like, just look around though. Like, it would be evident. You'd see it. Like, you know, it's
I don't
just
think
not
it's
happening.
the potheads that are living on the street.
well,
yeah,
what's crazy
no.
is just from our industry opening alone, we employ almost 25 people. through 3
27
stores.
Yeah.
right now.
At your 3
You've
stores.
created jobs. People have a place to go. They don't have to go find it somewhere, and God knows where. With what
Meet in
other else
Safeway,
they're
will be there in
selling.
an hour. 2 hours later, you're still waiting.
Yeah, I just think it's.
Holla.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, totally. But I don't know. I think it just puts like this, almost like the safety back into it, somewhat.
It's just, those are the kind of people you can try and educate. They're just not receptive. There's
Well, they don't
gonna
want to be.
Exactly. They don't want to hear
So.
it. They don't want to listen.
So that's why are there still community outreach events that you guys do? Do you still try to bring awareness even 5 years later about what's going on, or is it?
I mean, we educate our customers.
Sure.
More in the beginning, we were really involved with actually the local police. We had them come through, walk through, so they knew what the inside of our store is like. If anything were to happen, they knew the lay of the land. They knew how everything worked. They knew where everything was. They know they had that whole background.
How'd that go?
Well, you know, to be honest, they didn't even know we were a pot shop. We're like, yeah, come on in. Like, they used to sit across the street at the church and try to get speeders.
Oh, okay.
And so we just went over and asked them to come in.
Yeah.
And they didn't even know we were a pot shop at first. We're like,
And I would like to say it's funny, they do not sit there and look for speeders anymore because everyone's slowing down or pulling out of our parking lot.
Yeah.
no one's speeding anymore. But we have held a few community outreach and state actually educational events at our store.
Sure.
I think that it's probably gotten a little more lax over the years. We haven't been doing as much outreach for education, but we definitely try to make sure and educate anyone coming into our store.
We try and direct people to our website for education. We have a lot of educational stuff on there.
Oh, cool.
We get
Links.
people that come in all
What
the
is
time.
what
and
is
just
your
ask-
website?
TheHappyCropShop.com.
And that's which one has the 2 P's?
All of them.
All of them. It's SHOPPE. The Happy Crop Shop.
Yes. Okay. Yes.
.com.
The Happy
Yep.
Crop Shop. Okay.
And shorten that up, it's THC
shop.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
THC shop.
Yes.
Was still 2 P's? SHOPPE.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. THC shop
Yes.
with 2P's.com.
Yes.
Okay. Cool. So everyone can get there, and there's cool stuff on there for everyone to see.
Yeah, there's some educational links, and the LCB, now it's the Liquor and Cannabis Board for Washington, obviously. You can find all kinds of information there. If you're really looking for some educational
If
pieces.
you're diving in, yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's good.
That's
It's good for
awesome.
everyone to
I've
stay
actually
informed.
never visited the website. I don't know if I've ever visited the website. I don't know if I've ever visited any crop or pot shop website.
They're pretty standard, I'd say.
I mean,
I
I
We're
don't
mean,
know what
not
I'm looking
stoners.
for.
We have websites.
I know. It's like, I don't know why.
They got
Yeah,
off the
but
couch
you
and
don't,
did it.
yeah,
That's
you don't
awesome.
think about it. But yeah, we're there. We don't sell online, but we're going to have some options to reserve soon. So you can reserve your
Oh.
product
Interesting.
online and
Pick
then
it up
come
at
in.
your convenience.
That's cool.
Do you have a lot of customers who are very specific and would do that already? Like, is
Oh,
there
yeah.
a need for it?
Yeah.
Why do people come to Costco? We're next to Costco in East Wenatchee, so you get a lot of people that come down from Omak. I mean, it's the closest one from Yakima to Spokane to Canadian border. It's right here in Wenatchee. So
Yeah, that makes sense.
we get a lot of out-of-town people, and they like to get in and out and get home, and so they would
Yeah. That's
reserve.
cool.
And people know what they like,
That's
too. So
Allie,
they
is
can...
that your marketing going on there?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Duh. Yeah.
She's
That's
pretty good at
cool.
it.
Reeling them in, man, from everywhere.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's something we should do at the comedy show is market up north, too.
Oh,
Friday night, people come in.
comedy show Friday night. Please come.
Yeah.
It's gonna be awesome. What else did I have just now?
I don't know. Like, lost your train of thought?
Yeah, I did just lose my train of thought.
Some people come in. It's kind of like a bartender. We call them bud tenders.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
They're bud
I've seen
tenders,
it.
but we literally have like regulars, daily regulars. They like to come in, chit chat. They know exactly what they want. They just beeline for the cash register and check out. They know, they know our bud tenders. They've known them for 5 years now. They have a relationship. So it's kind of funny in that sense. You don't get to sit down and smoke, but you definitely have your daily buyers and users. And
When can you guys fix that? When can you get us a sit-in smoke spot?
Been trying.
for like 3 years, the state actually put in legislation that you cannot open a smoke lounge.
Okay.
While we were trying to look for property, they just slipped that into one of their legislative sessions. And
Was it not in the original?
no, it was not. It was
Really?
about a year and a half to 2 years later that they.
Well, that's a natural progression of the industry. Is
Yeah, what the hell are you
have
gonna
somewhere
do?
to hang
Yeah.
out and do it with people socially.
Exactly.
You're gonna travel here to smoke weed, but I can't smoke it anywhere.
And then hotels, like, I mean, you're not really supposed to do it in hotels. People are like, all the time,
Well, it's
where do I do it at?
Right.
Well, don't do it in public. I can't do it at my hotel. Can't do it here.
Yeah.
Or like, just don't ask
Vape
and don't
pen.
tell. Don't ask, don't tell. No one will
pen.
know. Yeah, exactly. Vape. That is like a huge thing right now because it's so convenient.
yeah. I have a story that I actually have told.
Cash.
Hey, stop chewing on your foot.
Sorry, like the whole thing in his mouth, like going at it.
He's just crazy. We
Sorry.
literally have to spray them with we have like an apple cider vinegar spray that goes on his paws to make him stop doing that.
He'll take his pads off.
He has chewed a pad off
Yeah.
before. Dumb dog. Love you, Cash. No, I have a story that I've told on stage about taking one of the vape pens internationally to the Caribbean because I'm the only dumbass who didn't realize, like, oh, you could probably buy weed as soon as you get to the Caribbean. Like, not a big deal. Don't need to take it. So I'm the first person that's done that, probably.
You're like,
It
I
was
doubt you're
fun,
the first.
We were in St. Lucia, down in Monaco Bay, and they have the kind of like resort area, and then behind there they have like all these local shops. So the local guys are obviously coming out trying to draw business, and
oh yeah.
They're trying to sell me
$2
pot.
beers is great. They're selling Luke pot, and the guy sees Luke's pen, and he takes it, and like not even 15 minutes later, I look back, and he's passed out in a chair.
No,
Yeah, like
got more than he was bargained for.
So it goes. They were trying to sell me some weed. I was like, no, I'm good. His mom probably was selling the $2 beers right behind him. So I'm going. I'm buying weed. Or I'm buying beers from his mom for $2. And I walk by. He hands me a joint. And I took a couple hits of it. And I said, yeah, it's fine. And I walked back to my spot. And the next trip over to get the next $2 beer, and I was like, okay, well, here's what I brought. And I hand him this pen. And he takes just this big toke off of it. I mean, you know, the 1970s long joint toke off of this pen or whatever. And then it was like, yeah, it was about 15 minutes after that.
didn't he say something too, like, oh, you have good
Yeah, they said it was good. He passed it around his group of friends. There were like 4 of them that hit it by the time I was done.
And
I
they
think
were
he
done.
was, yeah.
Yeah.
Toasted.
From the East Wenatchee location.
Yeah, see, look. It
You've
works.
gone international.
International, baby.
Not
It works.
officially. That
Not
didn't
officially.
actually happen.
Yeah, non-officially.
No, do you know, I think LAX, Los Angeles, they'll let you fly out of the airport with it anymore down there. They don't even look for it.
That did get that. Yeah.
They don't care what happens to you when you get wherever you're going.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
it's pretty
That
much...
makes sense.
That's the catch-22.
Yeah, it's legal where you're flying out of, and we don't care what happens when you land, which I guess I love that.
Yeah.
Not
I
their
mean,
responsibility.
You try it. Let me know how that goes.
Yeah, well, I took it to Jamaica. Where were we? Somewhere in the
We
Caribbean.
flew to Florida with it.
Yeah,
So.
in Florida, and then
On a
and then I
cruise
hopped
ship.
on a ship. Yeah, I guess that was easy.
We got on a cruise
Yeah.
ship, but they didn't.
Search.
They
It was
didn't find
it was in the front pocket of my backpack.
They don't
for
search
those
you
of
when
you.
you get on your back,
It's
like
not-
when
yeah.
you get on a ship.
It's
They
not
do
smuggling. It's
metal,
when it's in
but
the
that's
front
it.
pocket of your backpack.
Smuggling is when you're trying to hide it somewhere.
Yeah, this one was
Yeah.
probably like in a mesh pocket. Like,
I would,
totally.
yeah, no, like you could see it through the front of the backpack. I would have been happy to be like, oh yeah, you can pull that. Sorry, forgot it.
Oh,
no one
yeah,
would
you
do
can
anything.
have that.
No one would do
They'd
anything.
smoke it.
On the way back, I still had it with me, and she pulls me aside from my bag. I was like, oh, you can just take whatever she is. It's like, there's a water bottle, like literally in the side pocket. Like, you can't have this. I was like, okay, good.
Oh,
We'll
yeah, I
keep
forgot
going
about
here.
that water bottle.
Oh, it's the
That's funny.
easiest thing. I don't know. Soon. Globally, federally.
Yeah.
I love it.
That'll be the day.
Did you have some questions for them?
I do. Guys.
This is the best part of the podcast.
Is it rapid fire?
Yeah, it's the lightning round.
Okay.
This has nothing to do with anything that we've talked about either. So
Okay.
there's that.
Is it first? Whoever answers first, do we have
Nope.
to hit a buzzer?
Nope.
Is it like
you actually
That's a good
both
idea to get, though.
you
Both
both,
have to
have
answer?
to answer them.
okay?
Um.
I'll go first and give him ideas.
Okay.
I'll plead the fifth.
These are all going to be would you rather's.
Okay.
And they're going to be. I think each of them are easy, but lightning round.
Okay.
Beat
So-
boats
so
and golf course.
Take your time, but do not take your time. Okay.
Best things ever.
Well, do we hear it? Yeah,
I can hear it.
It's the lightning round. Okay.
Storm's
I gotta
coming
turn that.
in.
You ready?
Oh, my
Ready?
headphones started working
Ready?
again.
Right. Does it feel? It feels intense now.
Yeah.
Okay. Would you rather sleep with several tarantulas in your bed for the next month, or sleep with the lights on for the next year?
Sleep with the lights on for the next year.
Lights on.
For the rest of my life.
So easy.
No way.
Okay. Would you rather go through the rest of your life sounding like Mickey Mouse or Donald Duck?
Mickey Mouse.
Donald Duck is for fun.
I like Donald Duck. Okay. Would you rather have to announce every time you fart or start every conversation with, hey, idiot?
Hey, idiot. I probably do that half the time anyway.
Hey, idiot's tough on business. Okay.
You
Cory, what do you got?
You just do it with a big
I've-
grin and a wink.
Yeah, true.
I'd probably do the fart one in the Donald Duck boys.
Yeah, exactly. There you go.
I think that the fart one might sound pretty good with Mickey Mouse.
It could. Okay. You get a genie
Can
bottle.
you get some voiceovers on that, please?
Yeah. Genie bottle. You rub it. You get 1 wish today or 3 wishes 10 years from now.
Ooh, that's a good one.
That is a good one.
I'd say 1 wish today because who knows if I'll be here in 10 years. I might get run over by a car when I'm done rubbing the lamp.
Yeah, could happen.
When you say it like that, that's tough to not take the one today.
You're taking the 1 wish today. Okay. I thought you were the business guy, Cory. I thought you were going to
I
go
mean,
like
personally,
the long game.
the 3 wishes sounds way better because you get 3 of them, and you have to wait though.
It's a 10
Yeah,
years.
what if you never
we've
get 'em?
We've gone through this, so when she says the one today, like I would like to have.
Could you
the
have?
3.
Could you wish for infinite wishes? Is that a thing?
No, of course that's never been a
course
thing.
not.
You can't do that.
Can I have 1.5 in 5 years?
Yeah, can we like negotiate here?
There's the
You want the
business side of you.
Let's negotiate.
Absolutely not. No, you're waiting the full time. I stopped the music early. I have one more for you. Ready? Everyone hears your thoughts for 1 year, or you show up to work in your underwear for the next 2 years.
Oh, you can hear my thoughts.
Really? Cory, you're a handsome man. I figured you could rock the underwear. 2 years in underwear? Dude, you're going to have everyone hear your thoughts for a year?
I think that I would probably
You'll probably
do my
shut it off.
underwear.
You
Yeah, people would
have
probably
to.
stop wanting. They wouldn't want to listen to me. They're like, Jesus, how does she function? It's like crack
would-
up there.
I wouldn't have any friends.
No.
I would,
People
I
be
would
like,
literally,
Jesus, did she really just think about all that in 10
In
seconds?
10 seconds.
So can I
Like,
take 2 years off of work?
Yeah.
I don't
But
think
then I'll
that's
do
how
my
it works.
underwear in the work.
That's what I would do.
Yeah, I work at home, so I'm going with the underwear.
Yeah, she works from home anyway.
I'll sit in
what
my
a cheat.
underwear.
Okay, well.
She literally
Gotta run that
already
one.
gets to do that.
Yeah.
I
You
don't
probably
know.
could if you had to.
You just boxer shorts, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's kind of
It
like
doesn't seem that bad to me.
But do you only have to go to
glorified
work
Speedo.
and then your social like
I
appearance
think
you can be
go.
clothed?
Yeah, I think it's just the work hours.
That would help me get in shape, wouldn't it?
Yeah, you'd have some real
Some real good
incentive there.
motivation.
I think it's
That'd
just
be
the
good
work hours
motivation
per
for
the
me.
way I wrote the question. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
There you go.
Well, there we go. That's the lightning round. We learned a lot about you guys. That's a ton of fun. Okay. Social media, website we did.
Yes,
Where
our
do people find you?
Yes. So thehappycropshop.com. Let me check our social sites only because social media doesn't like the cannabis industry.
Oh.
Yes.
Might not even be there right now.
Yeah.
Is that what I'm
Federally
hearing?
illegal.
Okay.
So
It
that
is
whole
there.
issue.
Well, I'll tell you guys what. While we're doing that, you are listening to This Probably Doesn't Matter. It's thisprobablydoesn'tmatter.com. This probably doesn't matter on all the social media except for Twitter. If you want me there, it's @probablydoesn't. Please, please, please come to the show Friday, June 28th. It's at the Radar Station. Tickets are 15 buckets.
Bucket.
15 buckets. Tickets are $15. You can get them at thisprobablydoesn'tmatter.com or radarstation.com/tickets.
And you two lovelies will be there.
We will be
You
there.
guys will be there.
We'll be there.
You have 2 more people to bring.
Yes, we will have them there.
Okay. And then invite everybody else,
Everybody.
please. And thank you. So I
Yes.
don't go broke.
So our Instagram, it's a little funny. It is the Happy Crop Shops, but it's the happycrop.shops_. Because we've gotten shut down about 8 times.
Nice.
Oh, so you
gotta
had to
try
made it up 8.
Keep it, relatively the same. Wow.
So everyone should go to your website.
Yeah, go to our
And then it-
website.
yeah.
Or stop by the stores.
Cool.
Yep.
Yeah, just stop by.
Yeah, 3 locations.
Yeah, we're on East Wenatchee, 50 Rock Island Road, 1210 North Wenatchee Avenue. So we're right next to Sumo in the Harley Center.
Right.
And then we're by the hitching post or the liquor store out in Kashmir on the highway.
Just remember, if you need your ID,
Yes.
you need to grab some liquor and some cannabis. You can do it all
Exactly.
in one
And then
stop.
go
Right
stop at
there.
the bar. You've had a hard time. You're going to stop
Yeah.
at the bar after
Yeah.
that. It's an awesome time.
One stop shop.
I
man.
love all that
There
out
you
there.
go. Oh,
Guys, thank you so much for being here. This was a ton of fun.
It was. Thank you for having us.
yeah.
And as always, please remember this probably doesn't matter.